Just getting set up here. I'm going to follow Cash Carbon, folks. Cash. Here, my student.
Go and then, yep, I'm live on my end now. Should I join again, like I did with the a second account, the Zoom call, so we can share the puzzles? If that's something you want to do again.
We'll probably not do that again today unless you have questions about it.
Okay. No, I'm all good. Just curious.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. If you don't have a need to clarify anything there or redo something there, we'll probably just play where I can watch you just fine. All right. Hello to Twitch. Hello to YouTube. And hello to Cash's chat. Greetings, everybody.
Hello, hello.
All right. Oh, I think what I need to do is I need to watch these ads on your channel to properly be able to see the chat in case anything comes up over there. Today.
Gotcha.
Just hit a couple ads up. Nice. There we go. Okay. So, so the first thing I want to ask you is any questions or issues or anything that's come up in your own practice or training or tactics or anything?
Thinking yesterday I had a rough day, just in general, all over chess. Just mentally was not there. So if anyone reviews my games from there, it's just complete chaos. But in general, I've been trying more D4, playing as D4, and then playing D5 as well. Just to kind of get a feel of that. I also tried D4, D5 C5 stuff, just to kind of get more familiar with that, playing against D4 as well.
Yeah.
But overall, I think I'm doing okay. Just I need to. I think the thing I struggle with most is almost panicking when I see something that feels like it could potentially be a trap. And I feel like I'm oftentimes overestimating my opponents for certain things. I don't know if that makes sense, but
it's possible.
I feel like, a sense like, oh, am I falling into a trap that I do not know about? But that just might be a mental barrier to overcome. That'll come with understanding more common traps in the positions I find myself in.
Yeah, to some extent, it's like a thing that's common to people at every level and that sort of comes and goes all the time in your life. Like one thing that you're calibrating is what's the proper confidence for you. And then on the flip side, what you're calibrating is kind of like what's your respect or contempt for the opponent, right? And in either domain, you can go too far in either direction. So that has to be recalibrated as you get better or worse, wherever somebody's on their trajectory, because I guess we all eventually get worse as well. But we need to recalibrate it over time for ourselves and then also for the level of opposition we're facing, right? So like right now, when you see a certain move from an opponent, you might think there's a 20% chance they've planned this whole sequence out and an 80% chance they just moved quickly and didn't pay attention to this option for me. So you're going into it, and like at some point you're like, yeah, I think they missed it. And you're like, well, do I need to double check it 20 times? I mean, they missed it. But then as you get to a higher and higher level, at some point you're playing a master. They think for 10 minutes and then they play a move. And like the chances that they've just blundered something, right off the bat, it's like 1% or something. So there you do more double checking or more, more respect for what they might have taken into account. And you can imagine that being too afraid of what your opponent's up to all the time would cause you to spend too much time, to double check too often, right? To fall behind on your clock, etc. But also being too disrespectful to the opponent would involve making blunders yourself by playing loosely and not realizing, oh, maybe they saw it. Let me just see if they have an idea, etc. So you have to continually sort of recalibrate it. And so it's one of those eternal tricky questions that honestly, like Caruana and Nakamura are still doing that all the time. They're still always like they're playing, and even from tournament to tournament, they're like, in what good form am I? Like, how much can I be confident in myself? Like, to what extent do I trust myself? When you see some complicated line that seems to work, and you're like, but what if I'm missing something, right? Even a super grandmaster, I think they still have that, where they see some complicated thing, and there's part of them that's always thinking, well, what are the chances that I've missed something here? Should I check this again, or should I go for it? Yeah. So.
Yeah. I think it's more so with openings that I'm not familiar with. I guess when someone plays like the King's Gambit or something, it's like, oh god, I have no clue what to do. So I just stick to basic fundamental principles. But even so, when I'm doing that, I'm like, is there some major thing that I'm just doing completely wrong here?
Right,
but
does
it'll
this
come with
hold up?
experience and just playing more.
Yeah.
And learning, studying more about it.
The basic principles, like bringing out your pieces, fighting back, checking for short threats and stuff like that, those are going to carry you to a certain extent through everything. But it is true that there are some positions that are exceptions, basically, right? And so now and then someone can do something sneaky where a move that looks perfectly good and healthy has some specific problem with it in that position. So there are tricks, and the higher you go, the more people will lay sneaky tricks. So yeah, we can look at some stuff. We could talk about reacting to some more aggressive E4, E5 openings if you wanted to. Some things like King's Gambit and Vienna, which is kind of like the King's Gambit sneakier or King's Gambit deferred.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with Vienna. I never ever really had a problem with the Vienna.
Okay.
I mean, I usually just develop my bishop first. I don't know, outside my knights, and then it kind of deters, and then a pawn after that. But maybe I'm just, I don't know, I'm missing something there. But yeah, that'd be good to do. And also, one thing I want to talk about is, which side is better to castle on when? I know that's probably a very open-ended question as always, but I'm finding myself just like, I look at the flow of the game and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. I want to be more aggressive this game. I'm feeling it. Let's castle queenside so I can get my rook out earlier. But I don't know how to maybe evaluate or more an analytical approach to evaluating that. Because I'm just more so going on like, I feel like doing this and, getting away from some of the danger that's on the right side of the board. Let me castle queenside or something.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the fact that you're thinking about it and trying out different things is kind of the sort of step-by-step approach to calibrating and figuring out when it is better or worse, little by little, by yourself. Some people just castle kingside like every game because it's simpler, and then they're not exploring stuff, right? And so they won't learn as fast. That said, when you're choosing which side to castle, one of the main factors is where your king is going to be safer, kingside or queenside. So you kind of look at maybe the pawn shelter that you have there, or how much space does your opponent have in that area. If they've advanced a bunch of stuff in that area, then you'll be less safe there. So you can kind of look like, which side of the board am I safer or stronger on in terms of your own king safety. Then the other reason for castling queen's side versus king side would be maybe if you want to launch an attack against your opponent and you want to feel free to like ship it, throw your pawns, throw everything at them, and so you don't want your king in the way. And so like if I really want to attack my opponent on the queen side, I might castle on the king side so my king's out of the way, and then I can push all the pawns, I can sack them, I can trade them, and it's going to open up their king. When you make the choice to go opposite sides specifically because you want to attack the opponent, then the main question is, do I think my attack's going to be faster than theirs? Because by going on opposite sides, you're giving them carte blanche as well, that they can throw everything at your king. So generally, if I think I'm worse, I'm less likely to castle opposite sides because I'm going to think their attack's coming faster. And if I'm better and I feel like my position is like stronger and faster, then sometimes I'll castle opposite sides to accentuate that, right? Make the game sharper, be able to like bring it to them more emphatically or more powerfully.
Got it.
So that's some basic thinking on that.
Okay.
On that,
that makes
question.
Sense. And then just one more thing on the queenside castle. Say I'm playing white, I castle queenside. Do I ever want to move or I guess, how much of a priority should it be to move my king from C1 to B1? So it kind of mimics the pawn position of the kingside castle.
That depends on how fast the position is. So if you've got an attack that's coming really fast and you've got threats that are coming really fast, you can just pursue your threats. Sometimes it's not as obvious that you're checkmating the opponent quickly, and so you'll play king b1 to reduce their counterplay, because now they can't make threats that come into a2. So sometimes, just for sort of tactical reasons, you'll want the king tucked off of an open diagonal, or you want your king defending the A pawn, and then you continue your attack.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's all the main questions I had. Other than that, I think I just need to keep practicing it out and just see where I keep messing up, and then drill those in and fix it up, and then go from there.
Cool. So what I'm going to do here, I think, before we start playing some games, is I'm going to see if I can just go into your game history and look for 1 or 2 games with, D4 different openings, and just see how some of your openings have been going recently. So let's go.
Yeah, sounds good.
Go here and see what I can grab from this weekend. So looks like you got a couple blitz games in as well, which is good to keep your pace up.
Yeah, the blitz is just it's just, when I'm losing or I'm just doing something, I would go for the blitz. And also the games yesterday were all pretty rough. So
okay, that's fine. I think because you're just slightly on the slow side, it's good to play an occasional blitz game, because that just keeps you able to switch gears and switch into that pace if you need to. So here you got an unusual opening from your opponent. Very unusual. You dealt with it, got your pieces out. Cool.
Oh, I hated this game. I hated this game so much.
Oh, this game's fine. Like, you handled this opening very nicely. It's all fine. Yeah. Good instincts. I mean, you occupied the center, you brought out all your pieces. In this position, they're sort of forcing you to sack a pawn, I guess. So it's possible that in this position there might have been a better move than bishop d7. Because of the 2-pawn attack that they achieved afterwards. Like, maybe bishop d6 is a better way to defend your e-pawn, because now if they attack your d-pawn, you only have to defend 1 pawn with your knight.
Yeah.
But that said, I mean, they're moving the queen 3 times to win 1 pawn, so by default your position should be fine there. Let me think. Oh yeah, I know. Your position would be a little stronger here, since you're losing a pawn anyway, if you developed a new piece to defend the d-pawn. That, I think, is even more important than the question of which pawn to defend before. This leaves your bishop defending your knight, and it just brings out a new piece. So then when they go queen b7, you can play rook b8, your knight's already defended. You can play bishop d6, and you have about 4 tempi of development for 1 pawn. So black has a big advantage here, despite losing the pawn. You're just so strong. You've got so many pieces on good squares.
Yeah, I think my problem with this game is I'm not exactly sure how to take advantage of this position. Right? How do I break through the pawns and actually do something with this? And I think I spent way too much time looking how I could potentially trap that queen. And I don't know how I lost in this one, just maybe dumb blunders, or I lost on time, but...
Yeah, let's see. You start building up the pawn chain. I think part of the problem was, like around move 10 or so, the knight on e7 was blocking your bishop on f8, so you weren't able to just like smoothly finish out the development. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So you started like fighting with your pawns, but what you really wanted to do was like get your bishop out of f8, get your king castled, and then maybe storm forward with more pawns to break open lines. But here you don't have a full coordination, and so your opponent was able to hang their queen. Okay, well, that worked out. But they were clawing their way back before they lost the queen, right? Because you didn't have a clear path forward with your pieces.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm gonna go to another game, because I'm basically just interested in how you're handling new and unusual openings. So I'll just go to the first few moves of each game, do a quick review. So here you got an e4, e5 with white. I'm sure you're comfortable with this. Yeah, you even knew that e5 is the best move here. Developing. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. If you look at this Cash Carbon goated something or other, goated Marv game, maybe the move bishop c4 on move 12 would get some attack going after your opponent grabbed the rook. Yeah, sorry, you might not be there yet.
Oh, that
Cash.
was from yesterday. Oh yeah, all my games yesterday were. I don't consider those real games,
Fair
but
enough.
yeah,
I'm
my
only going to
brain
be
was just
checking like the
absolutely off.
first. I'm just going to be checking the first 10 moves or so of some of these.
Mm-hmm.
So I just see an interesting point at move 12 after your opponent takes on a1. You could play bishop c4, and I think they can't keep your queen out of f7, so that'll get you a pretty exciting attack.
So move 12, bishop c4. Okay. And what did you say after bishop c4? What was it?
That they can't really keep your queen out of f7, so you're going to get a pretty exciting attack after bishop c4.
All right. C4. Yeah. Yeah.
Just something I noticed. I mean, I don't know if you meant to sack the rook or not, obviously, but bishop c4 just struck me as like, wow, that's a strong attacking move right there.
I'm usually hesitant to kind of line up a bishop c4 and queen on the f file.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I feel like it's too obvious.
You're like,
and
it's too obvious.
Longer.
I'm playing like a beginner, but
no, I feel like is it worth it to do that? Like, because I feel like it's very recognizable when there's like a scholar's mate-esque type of checkmate,
right?
Versus doing that versus wasting or spending more time either developing or looking for a separate attack to win a piece.
Yeah, I'll say this. If there is a defense, your opponent will find it because attacking f7 is obvious. They'll have seen it before. In this position, there's no piece that can defend f7. So actually, you should attack it.
Okay.
The only move that seems to defend the square is knight to h6, and then you can take that knight with your bishop while attacking their queen with your rook. And, the floodgates are open for white's attack at that point.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's an unusual opportunity. It's very rare that in the opening you can just attack f7 and they can't defend it.
Mm-hmm.
So normally it's a waste of time and effort. But here it's good.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I think that queen was scaring me as well. I don't know what I was thinking with it.
Yeah. Okay, got another game with white. Let me just see. And you tried d4 as white. Nice. Against I am Dennis, you played d4 with white. Nice. Hey, you look like you've been playing d4 before. Beautiful. Cool. All right, that's great. No notes on the opening there. So I saw this one, I saw this one, I saw this one. Now, black game with I am Dennis, same opponent. And they played d4 against you. Nice. Okay, so we get another d4
Yeah, that was someone
game.
in my chat. I asked for any d4 players just to...
Oh, perfect. So you get to play a pair of games with them. We got d4, you used your c-pawn, you got your pieces out, bishop out. Okay. So again, it looks like a real reasonable opening by you in this game as well, right? You got enough space in the center, you got all your pieces out. Do you feel a difference already between this and when you were feeling cramped with the d4 games like 4 days ago?
I do. I really like the c5 push.
Okay.
Or just the the pawn push first, just to kind of open some stuff up there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely just getting more comfortable with it feels better, and just not being as timid to open up the position a bit. But yeah, no, it feels better.
Great. It looks better immediately. Okay, so that was the second game with I am Dennis. Then this one is a blitz game here with our Rom 12, and it's an E4, E5 game, so you're probably more or less comfortable. Yep. Sure, normal stuff. Okay. As long as I beat Matt. Yep. Matt's got it coming. That guy's like, I don't mind losing 1,000 games to people online, but if I get the skills I need to beat my coworker Matt, it's all good. Okay, got all the pieces out here. Oh, okay. So all the pieces came out again. Just looking, maybe I should just look if there's any other D4 games. Another E4 game. Okay, I'm just going to take a note in my profiles and notes here. Okay. Got much better at D4 overnight. Beautiful. Okay, I'll go back. Oh, you got in a good number of games yesterday.
Yeah, I was just sitting around spamming just some blitz here and there. I was doing some other stuff. So again, I would I was just pushing wood yesterday for the most part.
Yeah. That's fine. You got D4, D5. They played an interesting pawn sack against you, E4. This is a game against Jace Allen from Canada. And you played C6 and just took it into a caro, brought out your pieces, traded their stuff. Cool. All right. And you come out of the opening with a good position again. Nice. Yeah. So the opening's looking pretty decent. I think we can worry less and less about like somebody playing D4 and you just being out of sorts.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, well, that didn't take much, did it? Nice. Ooh, fancy. Okay, cool. All looks good. Cool. So maybe let's get into some games, and then any questions that come up, we can chat about things too.
Okay, sure. Close this up. Let's see. Let me go here.
Yeah. So we're looking for opponents between 1,000 and 1,400. So here's a link, folks, for anyone who wants to challenge Cash to a game. We're looking for 10 plus 2-second increment, 10-minute games. Anyone between 1,000 and 1,400 is welcome to apply.
Have you been scouting out the other students much?
Not yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to scout them out, and I'm going to send each of you a profile on each opponent. So you have an idea of like just some of their patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Do they tend to play...
I started looking into it a little bit just to prep.
Okay, yeah. To know, do they tend to play fast or slow, or do they do well in aggressive positions or defensive positions? Do they like long games or short games? Anything like that that'll give you a sense of the flow. I'm not really looking to tell you like, oh, on move 7 of this Italian game in this one line, they sometimes play an inaccuracy, because odds are that their coach will point that out to them too. So I don't want to get your hopes up with some like magic sauce preparation or something. Yeah. It's just like to have a sense of like, the feel for the game. This player will give you chances when they're ahead. This player won't. This player this or that, so that's kind of what I'm thinking to do.
Did you check out that Chess Rep site?
I have not yet. I spent the weekend with my family pretty much, and
oh, nice.
and the morning and afternoon today teaching lessons. So I have to do it Monday night and Tuesday night are really the times when nobody signed up for lessons. So that's when I have to review all the profiles and
Gotcha. Nice.
get the extra work done on the side. I can go through your opponent's games like very, very quickly, right? Relative to when you try to look through their games. So I just sort of like click through and I'm like, okay, they're playing this opening well, this opening badly, you know, they're playing a long game. Like, I know what I'm looking for. I've done 10 million profiles, so.
Okay, nice.
It'll be useful for me to do that.
Yeah, it might take a little while for the 10-2 still.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, Far Eastern, you want to play a game today? Yeah. All right.
Pretend to be 1,000.
Yeah, Cash Far Eastern's good enough that they can pretend to be 1,000 against you. They're in the 900s, but they're like quite good and they practice a lot.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. My rating range right now is minimum 947. I could expand that if you need Far Eastern, or you can just give me like a challenge. I could challenge you.
How is that possible, Sweet Blues? How could you have a 1,200 point gap in your ratings? Sweet Blues Cat plays all the bullet games, and Sweet Blues plays all the rapid games.
I got you. All right, so now I'm in a game with Far Eastern.
Awesome.
I'm going to
all right.
scenes and then just lock in for this.
Enjoy, both of you. I'm going to mute and provide a little bit of commentary on the game of itch here. Okay, so getting that scotch. Laptop with no mouse, okay. Ooh. Cash is fast at the start here, out the jump. Andras said he would join us for a talk afterwards. Nice. Thanks, Gefilte Fish. That's awesome. Bishop c4. Most active square for the bishop and trying to stop black from playing d5, which the knight could have been ready to support otherwise. Yeah, I think that's the best move. And then, you know, they often castle here. Yep, castling for black. Reasonable. Castling for white. Reasonable, yep. Okay, and now the players have some choice, you know, about how they want to develop from here. There's this big, like, fight over d4, which is kind of annoying at this level for them to keep track of and keep calculating what happens if I take, what happens if they take. So Cash is going to simplify that out, make a trade, and then probably make this trade and then develop the knight. If Cash was aware that knight d2 would lose a pawn on d4, then that's good. That's good awareness. Yep, all that is fine.
Push up here, then what? Go up here.
Kind of options here and here. Okay, aggressive choice there. Screen's displaying slightly weird here. c8. I actually really like that
I
Cash
push
played this
here.
move instead of just developing. Stopping
Yeah,
knight
still just
e5.
move, right? Fine. You're still kind of in danger. Where are you gonna go? I push here. I think it's okay. I'm gonna just move aside. I don't want to trade. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I noticed in some of Cash's games yesterday, which he said wasn't going well for him, but he was toying around with fancy moves like this yesterday. These moves have a big chance of like going against you. You know, when you do fancy stuff like this, allow rook d1, allow knight e5, big chance of stuff going wrong, but most people don't realize that they have these options, you know, so I really think he's doing himself a long run favor by experimenting and pushing with those kind of ideas. But here it was not good, so he was right for sure to move out. With the queen. This is a nice move from Far Eastern, developing this piece to its best square, challenging this one, and there's even probably a trap knight d2, rook takes d2, winning for black. So very strong move and no simple response for white here.
If
Main
I go
candidates
here,
this.
I'm just gonna preemptively do this. Right, where are you going with this? Does it matter? Think it matters all that much? Do it.
Okay, wants to keep more pieces on the board, yeah. These moves are playable as well, bishop b5 and bishop d3.
I don't like this horse.
Yep. This horse doesn't like you right now either. It's like, let me out! Alright, this is what Cash wanted. A nice big old fatty, as Jesse would say. A strong pawn in the center of the board. Give black something to worry about.
Should I keep going? Let's see. Push, takes, fine. Or should I develop here? Let's see. What are we doing?
So he could keep pushing. Make the bishop
Push,
retreat.
where do you go? You go
but
here?
But he doesn't have the pieces to defend those pawns, you know?
I don't really like that. Maybe let's just get this guy out. Boom, bam, here.
It's definitely high time to let these out.
Here? No. I think this is okay. Let's connect the rook. I don't know.
There we go. Connect the rooks. Yes, please.
I go here, takes, and then what? Why not threaten this here?
Good move. Good move, Far Eastern. All the rooks are in on the party. They're both keeping up a good pace here. Not too fast, not too slow. Very good.
Kinda like this.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, okay. Knight g5 would have been a good move for white.
Do this.
So we prevent it. And now at some point the plan has still got to be something on the king side using this pawn, right?
Maybe I push here. Ooh, that's an idea. I like that.
Like there could be some kind of position where you go f5, f6, they take.
Here, you go back.
And then you attack the king with the pawn sack. Okay, bishop g4 avoids that whole thing. Nice. Very nice. Gefilte fish. Yeah, Jake is aware that they were drafted. We've got our first lesson on Wednesday. It was a long time coming, but we'll see. We'll see. There comes the big Matovich threat. Boom. Looking for some kind of weakness here. Hey, Be Conquered. How are things going today? How much are you hating chess today? Key moment from Far Eastern's perspective. Bishop g6, g6, or maybe some other fancier move. This was the better one. Well chosen. Yeah, the lower rated players just get better and better and better.
What can I do here? I don't like this. If takes, what do I do? Nothing. Just move. Get out the way. Very easy.
Okay. Yeah, simple. Simple. Just get out the way and then trade. Now he's got to pick his favorite direction for the queen.
But here, is that dangerous? Let's see. If I go here, you probably do this, and not great. I think we just want to move here. And you go here or here, all protected. If you take, protected. If you go here, that should be okay. Let's just get out of the way, right?
Clean, solid chess from Cash.
But now you have the center, and I don't like that. Maybe here, but I like this. I should have probably kept pushing these, man.
I was thinking, this is annoying, and he's wondering, like, oh, how could I counter that? And then he's also thinking, well, maybe I can just keep pushing. Yeah.
Push, takes. Here, then takes.
Very solid play from both. Very solid play. Queen b5 was interesting. Threatening this pawn. Not easy for black to defend the pawn because of this. But anytime I look at a move like this, I wonder if black can't sack this and do something in the center. But I didn't see what black would do, so this move was definitely interesting.
What are you doing here? You attack this pawn. I mean, do I care?
Excellent question.
Probably.
Only you know if you care. Nice move. Much less nice would have been c4, giving black this square for their pieces. b3, very good. Now the queen's busy defending the knight. The pawns are all safe, relatively, but that knight is now a possible worry. c4. I think maybe Cash was thinking about f5 and then queen d5, and then he wasn't pumped about queen d5, so he played this. We'll see if Far Eastern pounces on this square now before white can play f5 and put black on the back foot. I assume knight d4 is correct for black. Does something else instead. Some different squares for the knight. Looking at that pawn and that central square.
If I threaten queen, you can go. Which case, what? Maybe I should go somewhere else.
Yeah. White had to do this at some point, and now was a pretty decent time to do it. So I fully approve. Very, very good. Very good game. Now the question is, can we at some point play either f6 or e6 to weaken this king,
Push.
right? And how do we set up these pieces optimally for them?
Here. So push the king.
I just calculated a line which didn't quite work. Very tricky to play this position. Just looking at this. But here, I didn't see anything concrete.
Here.
Maybe I didn't look hard enough. Maybe there's this insane move. Threatening knight f5 and threatening pawn takes pawn.
I think we gotta do like this first. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, it goes straight for it. Wow. He had that feeling, that instinct. This is always like a great sign. I mean, there's no way he's calculated, a 10-move variation correctly. So calm down, folks. But when you start to get an instinct for when a kind of interesting or aggressive move might be good, it's an amazing
Where do
thing.
you go? Here, but like, what do I do with that?
He's going to be looking at this first, not, this kind of a move. Also, queen f4 is interesting, attacking both pawns. But like queen h4, king g7, defending it, knight d4, that's at least an IM move, that's not what we can expect. Brings the knight and the rook, okay.
Maybe I should have given a check here, but I want this open.
Incredible instincts to switch from center to kingside attack. Normally that would speak to like a high chess culture, like having seen a bunch of
here
GM games that you're borrowing ideas
from. Bad.
But I don't think that's the case. I think Cash is largely self-taught, experientially taught from his own play, not from a bunch of super grandmaster games and stuff.
Also get rid of this guy, right? What a sack stage. Okay, no, I should probably just... Okay.
Okay, interesting move from Far Eastern, yeah. When someone attacks you on the king
there,
side,
then you just do the same thing, right? But not great. I mean, I go, how do I do this? If I go here, you take... I mean, I could just get up in there, but go for a little check first, and maybe just win a pawn here.
Let's go for more than a pawn, I hope. Oh, maybe he wants this pawn. That pawn's as good as an exchange, yeah. I was afraid he was talking about the A pawn, but no way he cares about that A pawn.
So perhaps we go... I don't like that, actually. Here, you take, I go... No.
For sure, Seth, for sure. Hey, Seth, where did you get your name? And is it pronounced with a little bit of Z in it, like Zeth? Or Seth?
Also,
Seth?
here's just a counter threat. Ooh, I should have... That was so good. If I go here. Okay.
He just...
Ooh, okay. That's fine.
He just had the idea of maybe just going knight f5 with his queen hanging.
Here.
And that's the kind of move that a lot of people don't even think about, but it's now on his radar, playing that kind of aggression. Now, I will say his queen's locked away here, so now the position objectively should be bad for him, right? Like Black should be able, Far Eastern should be able to, take in the center and kind of take over the game a little bit. But, knight on f5 will go a pretty long ways to keeping the game competitive till Her Majesty maybe
stuck in here.
Wanders back. Yeah, he's noticed that she's stuck in there.
gotta get back. If you move, that's okay. Because now I just go like this, right?
Yeah, the queen's back. Yeah. Guess who's back?
Threaten this. Threaten check here.
All right, that's the only place I'd ever seen the name, Seth. Sensei Jesse is reading it too, yeah.
Here. Maybe take here too. Ooh, that's good.
Your favorite
It's not bad at all.
Huh? Have you read all books, Seth? Have you read
Boom.
Winged in Truth?
Okay, so
big
now if I go
opportunity,
check
this
here,
or
you still
this.
take though. Correct. What if I went here with a fork? That's pretty good. I quite like this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this.
About to start the 5th. All right. I won't spoil anything for you with this. I'll just tell you your favorite characters in the 5th book. That's enough. That's
Win
enough.
queen, good, sick, amazing, beautiful.
Sick, amazing, beautiful. Yeah. Chess is sick, amazing, and beautiful when you play with such verve.
Now, if I go here, how do I close this? Let's see.
Yeah, who knows? Ugh. Who knows how to close it?
I want to bring my rook in here as soon as possible.
Bring the rook. Okay, that makes sense.
All right, because let's see. Let me think it through before I make a move here.
Yeah.
Just down here, here's okay, right? Go here first. Then we can just bring this guy in there, right? That makes sense to me. So let's take here, inhibit where your king can move, and then we bring our...
He wants to lift the heavy. In fact, just lifting the heavy immediately was, pretty darn good. Gefilte Fish's question, what place...
Oh, God, this night...
What place do...
Okay, here we're going to go here.
Oh, no. What do you need that pawn for? Bring the rook. Bring the Rookovich. Gefilte Fish's question, what place do I think chess culture has in the development of improving players? I think it's actually possible for people to get pretty good without any chess culture, even though that's something that Jesse and I have always held our noses up about throughout our lives. That person has no chess culture. They just play some
either way I'm good,
ugly looking moves and then they tough it out. I think you can get really good basically without chess culture, but I love chess culture, so I still think it's worth having probably.
You're
bringing it, but because he spent a couple moves on the queen, Far Eastern now has a chance to defend, and so we still have to see.
Brother, please, please.
What kind of technique we have for finishing. The H pawn is maybe the most professional approach to this. It's interesting because in his monologue, he was saying I want to get my rook in, and then he spent 2 moves on the queen here.
Right? Hey, you move here. No, I don't want to get rid of that.
Rook F3 would have just ended the game because by the time the knight gets anywhere, Rook G3 check, king over, and you take
I guess I could have removed the rook and then, but no.
Oh, Cash came up with the H pawn. Look at that. Bravo. Bravo.
All right, GG.
All right, super game. Now, Cash, I have a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
My general impression was that you've mostly taught yourself by playing a bunch of games.
Correct.
And that you haven't read a bunch of books by chess grandmasters about the games of Paul Morphy and Capablanca and blah, blah, blah.
Correct. I told myself I wouldn't do any lessons at all until I hit minimum 1,000, just to see if I could do it.
Yeah.
And then after 1,000, I did one lesson with Joe Bruin on stream where he just analyzed my game. And after that, I did follow along a lot with the Building Habits chess series by Aman Hamilton.
Yeah. I've heard good things about that.
And that just helped develop a lot of my fundamental principles a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, now it's just been reviewing my games, listening to people in chat.
Right.
From there.
So the insane thing is you have a feeling of the flow of the game here in this game that we just saw that normally I would immediately ascribe, be oh, I know this guy has seen a lot of old, GM games, because
Mm.
the part where you transfer from the center to the king side with that F pawn pawn sack. So let me see
Oh
what
yeah,
move
yeah,
is
yeah.
that.
That was cool. I like
That's
that.
move 20. So 27. You go F6,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're sacking the
Mm-hmm.
pawn, right? You're giving it up. You're
Mm-hmm.
playing a sacrifice. Most players at your rating level aren't willing to sacrifice. And you transfer from this nice strong center to trying to break their king and offer material and switch the whole feel of the game. That is just insane. That's just insane. If I didn't know that I was wrong, I would have called it immediately. Like, this guy's got chess culture. He's been through all the classics and everything. Because I mean, that thing, it's like that's a move for, 1800 minimum. Minimum.
Yeah, love to hear it.
Like,
Love
I
to
don't
hear that.
I don't even know where, like, I don't know how that move came out of you. It makes no sense.
I was just thinking, I don't know. It feels too constrained on the left side. I feel like I have 3 attacking pieces on their king, and
Yeah.
everything's happening in the center. I said, let's just open this pit up and let me start
Yeah.
some kingside attacks. I don't know. That was just my thought process.
Yeah. And it's crazy. After pawn takes pawn, I feel like even if I gave this position as a puzzle to a player around, 1,000 to 1,400 and told them eventually that F6 was the first move, they would assume that the follow-up is queen G4 check. They would think
I was thinking, but
I got to go with the check, right? But
Mm.
I think that there's a really, really slick move here for white. And I mean, normally I would never tell you this, Cash, because I'm not trying to overload you with insane, complicated things. But you blew my mind with F6, so I'm just going to tell you. I think F6 was great, and the follow-up could be Queen H4.
Queen H4.
Queen H4.
And so I can take the pawn here. I cut off your king, and then what's the follow-up on that? Bring in my rook?
So
I take
basically,
the pawn with my rook?
you're threatening to get either of those pawns, right? And you're keeping the pawn on F6 from taking on E5 because of the diagonal attack to the queen on E7. So you kind of freeze black with this Queen H4 move. And the only defensive move I see for black is King G7. Anything else, and you'll basically, put your pawn on F6 and your queen on H6, and you just kind of roll through their king side. So I think the main defensive move is King G7. And then a move that's worthy of a very high-rated puzzle, Knight to D4. Sacrificing your knight, but you're threatening pawn takes pawn check, winning the queen, and you're threatening Knight F5 check, winning the queen. You're threatening two different queen forks at once.
That's good. That's good.
And, okay, I mean, I would need a computer to verify it for me to be confident about this line. But this is like a GM level puzzle. F6, Queen H4, Knight D4, sacking the knight like that. It's insane.
Yeah.
But with you playing a move like F6, I feel like you deserve to know just how like amazing and sick and high level this direction you took the game was. You're not going to be able to calculate a variation like this in the next month. Certainly not in a 10-minute game. But I just want you to know that you're headed in the right direction. Like, your feel and the way you were like pushing that game was very, very, very nice.
Okay.
And one day in a game of yours, you could play like insane, beautiful moves like Knight D4 because you're pushing yourself and you're investigating and you're looking at interesting stuff. So these moves will be at your fingertips one day.
All right. Love that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
In the game, you played Knight H4 as your follow-up to the pawn sack, which is also a beautiful feel on your part, wanting to put the knight on F5, right? Hit the queen, hit the H6 pawn. You're opening up the rook by moving the knight. In terms of principles, Knight H4 makes more sense than my queen move because principles are you want to get your knight and rook into the game. And Knight H4 is like, boom, the rook and knight are in the game. Knight F5 is coming, powerful. However, your opponent alertly noticed one chance to slow your attack with a counter-attacking move, Rook D4. And now the rook's involved in the game, right? It's like attacking your knight and your queen. It's stopping Queen G4. So he starts fighting back with that move. He really sees his chance to try and make a battle out of it. Anyway, so great feel with F6, Knight H4, and all that. But also, credit to Far Eastern. With Rook D4, he made the game into a real fight there.
Yeah. Awesome. No, that was good.
Okay. Yeah, that was good. That was maybe the best game ever played by people of your ratings, like in
Love
the
to hear that.
history
Awesome.
of Rapid Chess. But yeah, pretty good. um, let's get some more.
Okay, let's do it. I
Folks,
will.
we're seeking again. So, 10 plus 2. Um, and let's grab the link here to Cash's profile for anyone who wants to play a game with him. We're looking for an opponent within generally the range of like 1,000 to 1,400 or so. 10 minutes plus 2 seconds. We don't care if it's rated or unrated. Ratings don't matter nothing to us. We're just getting that practice. ZJ, good to see you. And yeah, keep rolling.
Yeah, I'm doing some unrated right now. I'm so close to the 1200 goal. I know ratings don't matter, but I need to accomplish it.
But playing unrated isn't going to help you accomplish it.
I know. True.
You're playing unrated because you think you're going to lose the points you have?
No, it's because I think in learning, in practice experience, in like a learning setting.
You just take that off so you're just fully in the learning.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
And then in this setting as well, I feel like it may be a bit more risky to experiment and try stuff, especially in unrated, because I'm like, oh god, I'm not gonna lose my rating. But that's just, I gotta shake that in general for rated games. But
okay.
yeah, I think in more so a rated game, maybe I wouldn't have pushed that pawn just to be like, well, I'm down a pawn. What can I do? But I don't know.
Okay. Well, yeah, if it helps you unlock yourself to get better and better practice, go for it. At some point here, our goal is to play an event that's going to have some pressure. So if making it rated puts more pressure on you, that would be a reason to make it rated.
You're right.
But how you want.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it now. I'm gonna go rated. Good call.
All right. If anyone's underrated severely and wants to sabotage Cash's rating, keep him from ever getting to 1,200, now's the moment. ZJ says one of the best feelings is playing a pretty or beautiful tactic in an OTB tournament for the first time.
Oh.
That thrill. Sacking a piece. On an actual chessboard with clocks ticking and rows of quiet faces bent over their boards.
Yeah, I think I got to get out of the habit of like talking to myself during these games. I recently started playing over the board. I joined a local chess club, and it doesn't feel right not saying hearing myself, but my thought process. So,
yeah.
Like a little verification check. Like, does this sound good? Nah, I don't know. How you doing, TruePod? How you doing, Gamer Goldrin? And Dollface, welcome.
Chat, I don't know if I like this move while playing.
Yeah, I signed up for my first USCF event. That'll be fun. It's the weekend right after this.
Nice.
Hopefully this will be enough prep for it.
Super fun. A lot of people spend a lot of time preparing for their first OTB, and the best preparation for an OTB is to just play an OTB. By the time they're playing their first tournament, someone else might be on their third tournament, and well, they're better prepared because they just started playing sooner.
True. How much is the 2-second increment really factoring into this?
Like in terms of changing the results of the games or something?
Yeah, I mean, like, what are some strategies? Because I feel like a lot of my games, I haven't really gotten down that much on the 10-2 to like the last like 20 or so seconds where I'm kind of just
Hmm.
like spamming moves to kind of maybe get the timing up, and
Okay. It's not very
is
much, but one thing it might allow you to do, for example, is like do like a king and queen checkmate or a king and rook checkmate if you had literally,
mm,
5 seconds left in
mm,
the game.
mm,
Um, you could actually do it. Also, if you ever got a situation with like king and rook against king and rook, and someone's just moving back and forth to run you out of time, basically they can't do it. Or there's some
mm,
end games with like a bishop and one pawn against a bishop and one pawn where you could move around in
mm.
circles eternally. And if you don't have the increment, you would lose on time. And with the increment, you can just shuffle back and forth, and it's a draw.
True, true, true.
So it's mainly for like really basic like end games.
Okay, okay,
If there's
gotcha.
still complicated stuff going on in the end game, then the person with the 2 second increment will probably blunder.
Mm,
So it's really for the basic ones.
got it. Would you recommend pre-moving at all in this increment, like when you're down on time? Like, I guess I don't know.
Not really.
Okay,
I mean, maybe a recapture. You can pre-move a recapture.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but I mean, it also depends on your experience and so forth. But
Mm-hmm.
we had a game last Friday where you pre-moved and it cost you. So
Okay, that was just bad.
I don't think we're gonna catch up on pre-moves. So I would just say, yeah, let's save the pre-moves for bullet chess.
Good content though. There we go. No, I shouldn't
Yeah.
be.
Excellent.
No clip farmer during the tournament. I'm gonna have my blinders on and just everything muted.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Oh, they're 1,500. Should I accept this?
No.
Okay. Maybe let me go unrated again. See if we have better.
Sure. Yeah. We need anybody between, let's say, 1,000 and 1,400 for a 10 plus 2 game. Why did they decide on 10 plus 2? I don't know. But because they're doing an event, because there's a broadcast involved, they might have shied away from a 5 or 10 second increment, which doesn't sound like much, but you only need one game in the round to go into some back and forth end game, and everyone else waits around for 10 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So that might have been a reason for them to avoid like a 5 second increment. And then why they wouldn't use a 0 second increment, maybe they wanted people to be able to finish end games like king and queen logically instead of just
Mm-hmm.
smashing around some pre moves we can't see and then flagging. I don't know. But yeah, I wasn't in on that decision, so I'm merely speculating. Nobody wants to play a game? 10 plus 2?
Not looking like it.
All right, we got someone in the range. X Gamesmith is going to try and send you a
All right,
challenge here.
Gamesmith. Maybe I'll find Gamesmith. Let's see, Gamesmith. Oh, we've played before, Gamesmith. I think I'm gonna send you a challenge, Gamesmith. 10-2 unrated. Challenge has been sent. All right, here we go. In the game.
All right, let's open up the next game here and mute myself. So I bet this was a Caro.
If here. I think this is. Oh no. Wait. Yeah, that's okay with me. Let's just try it. Let's do it.
Okay, just developing all the pieces. Solid as we like. So from one perspective, black's happy to trade the light squared bishops because they've got a light squared pawn structure. From another side, white's happy to trade because on the trade, white got a recapture, speeding up their development. Now black plays queen b6, avoiding queen b5 check, hitting the king, the pawn, and the bishop. And now it's on cash to choose a side for the king, pretty much.
Push, I take. Where are you going? Take, sure. You're gonna take. Why don't I just simply do this?
Yep. Good call. In this case, I didn't see anything. You know, Cash had this question earlier about which side to castle. I didn't see anything really encouraging me to castle queenside too much here. To me, it's simpler just to tuck the king. Here, it feels a little safer for the king. There's a c-file against you if you go queenside, so just mildly not inclined to do that. Now black needs to decide if they want to take that knight, or if it's going to start hopping, or if they want to try and develop and get castled quickly themselves to the king side. That's what I would do.
Boom, boom. Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I'm going to go here. I sent it.
You could plop a knight in the middle. You could chase the bishop. You could maneuver this guy. At some point, it's going to be a little annoying that he wants to put a rook on e1 and this bishop's here. So he has to sort of... He'll have to face that at some point.
I don't like that. It's good.
All right. Plops the bishop into his best outpost spot there on e5. Putting a little pressure towards black's king. I expect black will play knight d7 to support their knight. Challenge the bishop, and then we'll see if Cash has anything planned or if he's still thinking about it.
All right.
Oh, that's an interesting thought, Sweet Blues. That you could go queen b5 check, deliberately trading the queen, and looking at these squares.
I think we just...
That's a good find, actually. I think we should have done that. I didn't see it. Yeah, now he's going to poke that piece. That makes sense. I suppose another option is you can play knight b5 instead of queen b5, right, Sweet Blues? I didn't even really consider that. Knight b5. Looking at these squares, more or less forces knight a6. And then you could push a3, c3.
Now take with pawn, push, takes, take with queen, then what?
You kind of take space away from the black pieces here so they can't challenge
here,
the knight ever.
Lose.
Playable. Playable as well, like your queen b5. Okay, we got trade.
Do I want to lose the center here? Let's go. But then this rook is going to come out. I'm just going to do it here.
Yeah, simple move.
Okay, now maybe I want to go back up in there. Let me probably defend this guy first. Agree? If takes, I kind of want to start. Boom. Takes.
So we got about an equal
Queen's not
position,
good.
solid and interesting for both sides. Black's got some use of the C file, white maybe
Here.
sometimes a little use of the E file.
Here, then what?
Oh, for sure, Oscar chess. Yeah, for sure. He knows that pawn structure is not as good.
I mean, this
I
could
think he
be
was just wondering if he had something he could do on the B file.
No, I think
Which
I
he
want to
can't.
give my
Black's too strong on the queen side.
Because what does this do for me?
He knows rook c8's coming, so he's thinking about where to put the queen and whether or not he might drop the b2
Let's
pawn.
go here first.
Yeah. So he does that, so his queen can move and not drop the b2 pawn. I think a very interesting move was queen b4. It's not amazing, but it's reasonable for sorting out these pawns. He's going to have to watch out that black can aim for a knight on c4, so we'll see how he's able to handle that. Time usage, decent. Just a tad slow. Just a tad slow, but not much. B4 was like a minute. Queen c3, 30 seconds. A3, 30 seconds. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play A3, you kind of have to know how you want to recapture just a little bit faster on here. You know, black's not playing any surprise moves. They're playing the moves you're kind of expecting, and so you want to be a little faster with your responses there.
Like, this is important. Here, let's probably snork up.
Yeah, white doesn't necessarily have a plan B conquered, just dealing with things that come up move by move, you know, dealing with the pressure on B2, figuring out where to put the queen. I think he might be thinking of like knight g5
Why?
to make some threats. Now I think he might want to take with the knight.
What does that do? Why did you do that?
He's happy to see that trade. So
Now, do I want to take here? You're going to move here. Maybe I take with... I think I'm just going to chill here.
Yeah. Because
Maybe I should have taken with pawn, but no.
And this covers.
Now I have to protect this pawn, though.
Yeah, gotta keep it defensive.
I can go here with a pretty... No, I can't.
There's 94.
Okay.
Missing
You're going to go
97.
here, here. Where are you going? Okay, I got a big fork, though, but let's see where you're going.
People often don't think
What
about
are you
what they're
doing?
leaving behind, right? They're looking
Let's
ahead
just get this fork
at
here.
what they're going after. But Cash had already thought about his knight being connected to this. Noticed the opponent's knight defending it. So he was poised against knight e4 to find this move.
Then maybe push this.
Yeah, queen d3 is possible. You're right, Abject pawn to move b4 instead of b4. Yeah, totally possible. Queen c7.
I went through here, but that's okay. I think
So
we're
black's
just
gonna have
gonna...
good counterplay on the c
have
file
your
despite
queen.
being down in a rook for a knight.
I mean, we have to just take, right? We have to take.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Ooh.
be conquered for sure. It's
Okay.
going to be a very tough position.
And
even with
maybe
the
now
extra,
let's go.
small extra material.
I think I want to defend this pawn.
Yep. Sometimes you just got to defend your little pawns. Right. Optically, the knight
Push
looks
it up
better than a
one.
rook. In practice, it's close to as good. So this position, I bet if we put a
Yeah,
computer
that works.
evaluation on it,
That's okay.
it wouldn't even be that obvious. So still a full game to play. If you ever get this position as black, you know, don't be dispirited. It's very playable still. As long as you've got great control of these squares, there's a lot of annoying things you can do to white, attacking basically all three of these pawns. If black controls those two squares I talked about, you effectively isolate these three pawns, and that gives you a lot of positional compensation. It's a lot of bad pawns, right? So as long as black controls these two squares, it's very close
no.
game. Notice how hard he's working on his opponent's turn. Do you see that? He's really, like, he's calculating things, he's evaluating, reasoning, working very hard.
Boom, boom.
Very focused. Although it's true, if he played in a tournament where he wasn't allowed to say boom, boom out loud all the time, might be something to adjust to.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Boom, take. Boom, take.
What I was thinking is be conquered to throw an f3 first, kicking the knight. When queen c2, you know, you would trade queens and take the knight. And the knight's got to defend this, so it heads back here, not to d6. If the knight has to retreat later, this is the better square with access to these squares. All of interest for the knight. So you play f3, kick the knight to f6 to defend the h7 pawn. And then, honestly, you could do anything, because by this point, even if black played queen c2, you would trade the queen, play rook c1, and do much better in that endgame. So I don't know if you even need to defend the pawn, but I mean, you certainly
I don't
could.
know. I don't know if I want to. I don't think I want to. But then you just take this. What can I do? If I go here,
Black offers that queen.
then what? I go here. I mean, I'm up. I'm up material. Makes sense.
Maybe trades
take.
here.
I take.
He can't really save
You
the
take.
A pawn very well, right?
I take.
So that's a little annoying.
Where does this go? Why don't I go here first? Or. Boom, boom. If takes. Take.
Yeah, it's still complicated. Be conquered with your g6 move and so forth, but it's progress for white. You know, winning another pawn, getting the black king sort of open and undefended for the next phase of the game. You know, white will be okay. Because what's good about black's position is not that it's, you know, mating attacking white or destroying white, right? It's just that it's very hard for white to make progress against. Black has very good square control. So getting the h7 pawn off the board, it gives white a plan of maybe h4, h5, just poking away at that area, chipping away at the black king's cover, eventually getting an open file for your rooks in the end.
I'm not going to, in fact. Well,
I agree, abject pawn.
oh my god. Okay.
f3 is indeed still a good move.
Where do you go? Full fork here. You're attacking this too. What if I just attack here, then you go here, then I go here? Where do you... Let's go. Grab it. Go.
Bravo, f3. Now the black knight should go to d6 instead of f6. We'll see if GameSmith takes advantage of that opportunity. Gives us some sense of GameSmith's skill with knights, right? What kind of route do you pick? Definitely not as good now, abject pawn, because the whole point of f3 earlier was so the knight has to go to f6 to defend h7. You think here?
I know I got
f3, a4 here.
Boom.
Here's better, huh?
Where are you going? Bad. You're done.
But knight c3.
Okay. Now if I go here, where do you go?
King
You
h1,
go here.
knight e2.
Here.
Rook takes, pawn takes. That doesn't look.
You take this pawn. You go back where you are. So not. But if you go back where you are, I just take here, right?
Does it?
So you're kind of stuck.
Rook c2. Oh, okay.
Agree.
Rook c2. Nice.
Check here. Take.
Still knight a4, and you got a hell of an endgame on your hand. That's
you
knight
stuck?
and 2
Where
pawns. b5 coming. No open files yet for the white rooks to take advantage of. So with f3, you know, if you kick the knight
Boom,
away,
and then you attack
then
that.
on a4, rook c4, you can play c3 without giving them the pawn right away.
Okay.
Yeah, might as well sell those pawns dearly. This endgame is very hard to play. Here against rook a3, I think you play a5 or so. Oh, knight b2 is a very nice move, yeah. Knight b2, rook a1. Yeah. Abject pawn wants an open file for the white rooks. The white rooks desperately want an open file. And honestly, f4 lets you play rook f3 as well. A rook trade would really help white's cause here. But, yeah. Very tough endgame to play here. Nice to see cash with enough time on the clock here, right? 3 minutes. Feels pretty decent.
Where are you going? You attack here. Here, you're done. Here, you're done. So I gotta protect this pawn, right? Why don't I just, oops, why don't I go here and just push to the heavens? Does that make sense? But then you go here. I mean, where else are you going? Right? You go back to exactly where you were? I like it. Let's go. I also need to make sure I don't get back ranked here, but I think I'm okay.
Oh, we got knight b2 and rook a1 played.
Push, takes, takes, and then takes that, right?
He's thinking about this to maybe try and open up the rooks. Go here too.
Oh, I could have actually. Oh, no, I like this better.
Something like this. Oh, b5. That stops the pawn from avoiding the trade. So now he could play a5. Nope. He'd be sacking this. He'd get the rook in the game finally. Rook d4 c3 would be a crazy idea to spot as well.
Now this is hanging. I know it is. But they have 8 seconds, so I don't really care too much.
So now
is this something that's a check? You go here, then what? If I go here, you probably go here to defend, correct? If I go here, what happens? Let me just play a little passing move to get some time. We win. All right. Good.
All right. Solid. Another solid game.
Yeah, I think that felt okay. Felt nothing crazy.
Yeah. It's clean. Sometimes chess is just, like a little fight of inch after inch after inch, right? Slowly making some space for your rooks, Um, rook for knight is often, it's sometimes even like an easily winning advantage in certain endgames. Sometimes the rook gets loose and it's just like zipping all over the place. But without open files, it was like you really don't feel white's advantage. It took like 15 moves before your advantage started to become felt on the last one or two moves of the game.
Yeah. I definitely noticed that. And like, is that a trade you would advise in that situation, or just do it anyways because it will pay off in the end game, or potentially could pay off in the end game?
You were right to take the rook with your knight. Sure, you were right to take it. I'm just saying it's like very, very hard to play that position. So some people would think, oh yeah, rook beats knight, whatever, we're cruising. But but those people will get frustrated or flustered that it's so hard to make progress. Whereas you seemed like very calm about the fact that you won some material, but then the game was still tough. You just kept working away at slowly improving your pieces. So
I've thrown far too many games up material to be careless.
Yeah.
After just being up a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, the way you sacked that pawn near the end on d4 was very, very clever. To go for your plan, you opened up the file for your rook while your opponent won a pawn. And that's actually the first time in the game that we can really feel that white's got a good advantage is after you did that. I didn't realize you were going to play this move b5 on move 24 after they played b6. I thought that you were thinking about playing a5 to open up your rook, but you were calculating already, I think, b5 first, just a longer variation that I realized.
Yeah, I figured, if I do a5, and what if they just don't take and push? Then I'm kind of like trapped even more here, right?
Yeah, then you're still working to find any air for the rooks. So when you played b5, I was like, oh, damn.
Is that the right thing to? Should I not do that?
Looks super good.
Okay?
Looks super good. Cool. Because the key thing is opening a file, and if you play a5, they push past you, and they just keep locking down your c pawn, and their rook and knight are hanging out inside, on these good squares. You can't quite trade them off or catch them. It's not obvious where you're ever going to win the game. So b5, locking down their pawn, so that when you play a5, they have to trade, and then they attack your pawn, and you just said sure, and you played a5. Oh, that was incredible.
Awesome.
Incredible. It was really, really good technique. There's only one really cool move that you could have played at some point this game earlier. Let me see if I can go back and find the moment for you. Let's go to move 18 right after they recapture the knight on f8.
Let's see. Okay. Yep.
Okay, so the knight on e4 is on a good square. Probably at some point you're going to play f3 to kick the knight. At this point, you defended your c-pawn, but you could improve by playing f3 right away. The reason being, right now, your queen could go to h7 if their knight went to the wrong square. So when you play f3, they're more or less forced to move their knight to f6 to stop queen h7. And now all those positions that you were fighting in the game are like a little bit easier because the knight's not so good on f6.
True.
Whereas in the game, you played very reasonable. You defended your pawn. They played queen c3, and now you can trade and play f3. But now instead of going to f6, their knight can go to either d2 or d6, and both of those are better squares than f3. So it makes the game a little bit harder, I guess.
Gotcha.
So
the moment during when they brought their queen down, what move is this? Move. How do I see what move I'm on? 18 c3, queen to c3. I was debating not trading off and then just kicking the knight here, because if you take, I take back with pawn, and then kind of open some files up. If rook takes, I take, and I'm still having this pressure on the knight to move out of the way, and then I have potential for pressure on the king and get up in the pawns as well. I don't know.
That's brilliant. Completely winning. Yeah.
Okay.
So you could play f3 on move 18 or on move 19. It's a very, very strong move, because even once the queens are facing each other, when you play f3, If I were black, I would retreat knight f6 and not make the queen trade. Because if I make the queen trade, like you said, I get forced to trade my last rook. I open up the file. I hand it to you on a platter. So if you played move 19 f3, I would still play knight f6 as black and send my knight to a worse square. And then you can do what you like from there. But yeah, that would be brilliant on either of those moves, f3.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I think I was spending way too much time thinking about that move. Yeah, I spent 2 minutes to capture the queen. So that's what I was debating during that time. Do I just push that pawn and then go through all the trades?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just didn't think it all the way through, and then was worried I would get checked somewhere and somehow, and then it all falls apart. So I just decided 2 minutes in, enough time, let's capture.
Yeah, but here's the great thing. You correctly recognized that this was maybe a key moment and that f3 was perhaps a brilliant resource that would help you. So you correctly spent some time thinking about it. But you also cut yourself off and didn't let yourself flag over it. F3 is not the only way to win the game. It's not make or break. So you didn't spend 4 or 5 minutes on it. And you'll see, we got to this endgame, you had like 4 minutes to play the endgame, which is fine, right? So it means you used your time well and you had enough time for what you needed to do. And even as we got to the end of the game, if your opponent hadn't flagged, you still had 2 minutes on the clock to play out the rest of that endgame, and you'd already done the work of opening a file for your rook. So you did a really good job of like doing what you could on the time management, doing what you could on the moves. You're balancing great moves with great time management, right? And so it's just like the fact of it that we can't always play great moves without running out of time. And you're doing a good job of balancing it there. You're thinking about great moves. Very solid. There's like no blunders here. So looks really, really good today.
Awesome. Love to hear it. Question about, I moved my rook up to f2 on move 21. Is that compared to just moving to d1? I mean, I see the engine's telling me d1's a better move, but like, what's necessarily wrong with pushing up to f2? But outside of like they're not connected, and I guess they're rooks are more powerful when they're connected.
I don't know if there's anything super wrong about it, but I think there may be a specific advantage to rook d1, which is being able to play rook d3 to get that other rook out of view. So if I calculate rook d1, let's say they have to go to c4 with the knight, and now I see my pawns attack twice, but instead of worrying about that pawn, if I now play rook d3, maybe there I get black's rook off the board at the cost of losing a pawn, which also opens a file. So the rook will be able to beat the knight and pawn by themselves in an endgame if there's an open file.
Okay. Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
True.
So that may be why the computer prefers rook d1 in that case. Yeah. All right.
Okay, solid.
I got to run and start grabbing the kids up. Great session. One question for you. I want to try and set up a tournament for you. So it doesn't need to be a time when I'm available to, watch or comment or something like that. Though if I am available, I'll pop in and watch. But I want you to get that experience of, 7 back-to-back games, very much like full tournament format. We can put some pressure on it, whatever gives you some pressure, we can put on the line. You can make a bet against your chat or I don't know what. And I just wonder if you have a sense of like when would be a good time. It's probably going to take maybe 2.5, 3 hours. So
gotcha. I mean, weekdays, I guess probably 6 p.m. my time, or was that 4 p.m. your time onward, or weekends probably all day. Saturday would be preferred, just like a whole day type of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, anytime. I mean, I'm usually streaming 7 to 10 my time, so that I can get home a little bit earlier.
Right.
6 p.m. or some day. So
is Saturday a little more flexible for you?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, probably be easier to find a slate of 7 good opponents for Saturday. So I'm gonna see if I can set that up for this coming Saturday.
Okay, let me just double check, make sure I don't have anything scheduled for this Saturday. That's Saturday, September 27th. Nope, all free. So
all right, so we'll set it up for this Saturday. I will, hit up the dojo server, try and find some people who want to play in that tournament. And
awesome, yeah, that'd be fun.
I'll definitely see you on Friday for a lesson, and I'll send you emails in between on the logistics of the tournament.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. All right, cool.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Take care.
Appreciate
Catch you
it.
later. You're gonna stay on stream, right? So we'll send everybody
I
over
am.
with a little raid here.
I'm gonna give you a little shout out as well.
All right, folks, head over to Cash's stream. Watch him keep practicing. If he needs opponents, help him find some opponents. Thank you already to Far Eastern and Gamesmith for helping us out here. And yeah, I'll be on again tomorrow with some of my other students, and I wish everybody a great day.